Raise your hand if this pandemic and global crisis has affected your mental health. I'm raising my hand for sure, and I feel like in times like this, we need to be more proactive and more intentional about taking care of our mental health. And since May is the Mental Health Awareness Month, I decided to share some practices that help me take care of my mental health. Let's look into them. Taking care of your mental health is vital, and I really think that we should be all proactive about it. But especially in times like this that take even more intention and even more regularity for some of us, for me for sure. But don't confuse mental health and, positivity, especially positivity when you don't feel like being positive. Mental health practices are supposed to help you process your emotions, and your feelings, they're all valid, and you should take time to process them and to respect them, because we are all going through this human experience and we are all allowed to feel the whole spectrum of emotions. Mental health practices are there to help you process them and to help you stay sane while you're experiencing them. So now that that's clarified, let's get into the video. This video is actually divided into parts. So in part number 1, which is this video that you're watching, I'm going to talk about Maslow's pyramid of needs, because I love that theory and I'll get to it in a second. But we're going to talk about the hierarchy of needs according to this theory, and tie up some mental health practices to those, because I think that's a very, very nice order of prioritization and also just thinking about things, because there are just some fundamental things that need to be in place until you can build up from that. And in video 2, I like my numbers for some reason, but in video 2, I will take you through additional 11 practices that I do that are also super easy and yet very powerful, that really help me maintain and take care of my mental health. Video number 2 will come out on YouTube next Saturday, so if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, make sure you do so that you don't miss it, and turn on those bell notifications to be notified when it goes live. If you've never seen or heard of Maslow's pyramid, or if you'd like a refresher, here it is. It is basically a hierarchy of our needs and of our human needs. And it starts with a very, very fundamental one, which is our physiological needs. So the need for water, food, air, rest, and so on. Basically the needs that allow us to function as humans that we are, as creatures, as animals. The next layer is safety, which is also a sense of security, essentially. So that could be shelter, like I said, psychological sense of security, etc., etc. The next layer is belonging or love, or you could also call it community. The one after that is self-esteem, then it's self-actualization and transcendence. You can learn more about Maslow's pyramid in other resources. I'm not going to fixate on it too much here. I want to get into my structurization of this video as soon as possible. So let's do it. Let's start with the most fundamental needs, and that is your physiological needs. Make sure that you're addressing those first. Basically do an audit of all the needs, all the physiological needs, and see how you can address them better. That includes your nutrition. Are you getting the right nutrients? Because as humans, we need to get a certain amount of different nutritional elements to function and thrive and to basically stay healthy, because we all need to stay healthy throughout this if we can. And yeah, look, if you are getting the right nutrients, I know it's easy to end up baking too much banana bread or something like that, or eating pizza all the time, and that unfortunately doesn't provide the right nutrients. So look over your diet. If you need to get more sleep, if you realize that your current schedule doesn't accommodate for your resting needs, then make sure that it does. Physiological needs are number 1 priority when it comes to taking care of your mental health, because you want to have a healthy body to have a healthy mind. Of course, that might be a luxury for some people right now. So if you are in that tough situation, do what you need to do to survive. And if you can find different ways to accommodate those needs, please try to do so, because you need to put your oxygen mask on in order to help others. And if you don't take care of your body, of yourself, you might end up burning out and, having other consequences. So if you can, please make sure you take care of your physiological needs first and foremost. All right, once you've ticked off that layer, let's go to the next one, which is safety. This entails both physical and psychological safety. I really hope that you are not in physical danger by any means, and I know that sometimes physical safety is a privilege. But if you can do something about it, please try to stay safe. And I know coronavirus is threatening our health physically, so do your best to follow the requirements and the recommendations that are being put out by the World Health Organization, and keep yourself and your community safe by basically minimizing the risks of getting the virus or spreading it. Once you're certain that you're doing everything you can to ensure your physical safety, let's move on to psychological safety. We live in very uncertain times, and I don't know about you, but this whole crisis, this global crisis and its consequences are giving me anxiety, for sure. We are human and we don't like change. Change scares us from an evolutionary standpoint, from a survival standpoint, right? This uncertainty is scary, so a lot of us are definitely having problems with psychological safety and feeling unsafe. I've been living under a state of uncertainty for years now. I'm an entrepreneur. I, at some point, left Google to move to different countries, move in with my boyfriend, start a job in a completely new field, became an entrepreneur, became a digital nomad. Basically, you get the picture. A lot of uncertainty. And you know what has really helped me when it came to controlling my anxiety and really stabilizing myself under this feeling of uncertainty and instability in what's going to happen in the future. Surprisingly, it's been having a routine or a schedule. And in my case in particular, because my routine is quite up in the air and I don't really have a daily schedule, it's, I wear many hats. My morning routine has been super helpful in that department. I've created a separate video about my morning routine. If you'd like to watch that, I will leave a link in the description. But when I was reading Maslow's original paper on the hierarchy of needs, when he first announced that theory to the world, he wrote about the need for having schedules for children and their upbringing, because that helps children feel more secure. And I need to do more research when it comes to adults and the effects on our mood, but oh my God, I felt it myself. So my actionable tip number 3 for you when it comes to mental health best practices, especially during crisis, is to create a schedule or a routine. I know we're still kind of adapting to working from home, and some of us have it more figured out than others, but try to create a routine that works for you. And if you can't stick to something that is, a whole day long, if you have to be flexible in terms of your schedule based on certain variables, then create a recurring element in your routine. So for example, with me, it is my morning routine. For you, it can be anything else. It could be a morning routine, it could be your lunch routine or your coffee routine or whatever. You get the picture. Basically, create a recurring element or some sort of schedule that creates that sense of stability. It is crazy how much my morning routine has helped me stabilize my mood and keep my anxiety under control. So I really hope that you take advantage of this super powerful technique. It's wonderful. And, it obviously only works when you make it a recurring thing. So you have to kind of stick to it. Otherwise, it doesn't work. The next layer of Maslow's pyramid of needs is love or belonging. It's the feeling of community, the feeling of belonging to your group. And unfortunately, that's one of the things that has been taken away from us because we are self-isolating. We are by definition by ourselves. So make sure that you schedule regular calls with your loved ones, with your family, friends, community, anyone that will make you feel like you belong. And trust me, I know that these virtual calls are not the same as in-person communication. I did 3.5 years of long-distance relationship from London, UK, into Colorado, the US. So yes, I know I've been in that boat, and I am in that boat right now. I'm in Chile, and I'm talking to my family all over the world and in Russia all the time, virtually. And I have been doing that for a while, and I know it's not the same, but we have to take advantage of what we have. This is what we have, and we should be grateful for technology that allows us to continue building those relationships, to continue investing in those bonds between human beings, because those bonds are so important. So for your mental health, make sure that you're super intentional about creating these calls, about creating these virtual meetings, virtual hangouts, and maybe create a schedule around them, right? Meet more than you would have otherwise. Why not? If it helps you feel better, do it. Let's move on to self-esteem, which is the feeling of accomplishment. And I feel like a lot of us could use a boost in that department every so often when things are normal, and especially right now when things are not normal, or the new normal, or whatever you want to call this, what's going on in the world. My recommended practice for this layer of Maslow's pyramid of needs is practicing gratitude, recognizing what you have, being grateful for what you have, because it really helps you focus on the things that you have in life and that you have achieved in life, as opposed to on the things that you are lacking. I think that gratitude is such a wonderful practice, and it addresses so many psychological needs within Maslow's pyramid of needs. So make sure that you practice it, and if you'd like to learn more about it, I have a separate video on the topic, which I will leave a link to in the description. Self-actualization and transcendence are sometimes very interrelated. So for the purposes of this video, I've decided to group them up into one category. And my advice for them is this: identify your purpose in all of this. Purpose gives us direction and a sense of clarity. Having one will help you set goals, feel like you have a reason to be here and to wake up in the morning, and finally it will make your everyday experience, more meaningful. And a positive side effect of having a purpose is that days will stop merging into one, and you will have more drive and motivation to wake up in the morning. I have created a separate video on how to gain clarity and identify your purpose in all of this, which I will also leave a link to in the description. And here ends part 1 of my tips on how to take care of your mental health during this crisis. And part 2, video number 2, will go live next Saturday. In that video, we will discuss 11 different practices that are super easy and super powerful to help you get through this. So make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn on those notifications not to miss out on that video and to be notified when that goes live. Remember though that doing these every once in a while will not have the same effect that you might be looking for. You should do these on a regular basis. Mental health isn't a destination, it is a journey. So try to adopt these habits as habits, these practices as habits. And I also have a video on habit creation, which I will leave a link to in the description. I hope this video was helpful, and I'm sending you love and strength. Let me know in the comments what you are practicing already and what you're going to start practicing, and if you like this approach with Maslow's pyramid of needs. I really love that theory, so yeah, I'm curious to see what you think about it. Like this video if you've enjoyed it, share it with a friend who will benefit from these tips, and of course we can also be friends on other social media. You can find me as Coding Blonde. Have a wonderful time of the day you're currently experiencing. Bye.